Make way for NFL college and ESPN college and NFL analyst Booger McFarland on the program. Your reaction to Pete Carroll back in the NFL, coaching the Raiders, Booger?
Well, I think the Raiders want stability. I think that's the one thing you're getting when you get a veteran coach like Pete Carroll. I think it's good. I think Pete Carroll is going to give them a sense of, okay, now we are a professional organization. Not that they weren't with Antonio Pierce, but you just got the feeling that there was always the question, are we going to keep Antonio or are we not? I think Pete Carroll's hire says, we got our coach. I think it's a 3-year deal with the team option for the 4th. So I think Pete's in good shape. Now the Raiders have stability. Now comes the big question, Dan. Who's going to be the quarterback? Because I don't think Gardner Minshew or AOC, Aiden O'Connell, either one of them are the answer. So now they have to figure that out. And then I think Pete Carroll has always been a guy that got his team to play at a maximum level. So I expect no different now with the Raiders.
Okay, but as a veteran, like what is Pete Carroll going to bring to that organization, aside from stability, but I'm talking about day-to-day? Like, why would Pete Carroll be the person that they wanted? I know they lost out on Ben Johnson, but you go from Ben Johnson with no head coaching experience to Pete Carroll with a lot of head coaching experience.
Structure, been there. He's taken teams to Super Bowls. Like, Pete understands how to get it done. Pete knows what it takes. And I think anytime you have somebody that stands in front of the room who knows what it takes, you automatically have buy-in because you've been there, you've done that. And so now the players know that if we just do what Pete says, Pete will take us there. And there's nothing better in any type of job that you're in. I think you'll attest to this. There's nothing better than confidence. It's amazing what happens when you get the right people in the right place, how that gives an organization confidence. Just look at the Washington Commanders. They were left for dead last year. In comes Dan Quinn. They get new ownership. They get a new quarterback, and they're playing for a chance to go to the Super Bowl, Dan. Let that be no better example than when you get the right people in the right spot, now your organization can take off. Whether the Raiders take off at that level, we'll see, but they definitely have the right coach, in my opinion.
The big difference is obviously Jaden Daniels, but is this team pretty much the team that was there last year, and then you add Jaden to this? I mean, is it that simple, that kind of turnaround?
Well, the quarterback is a big piece, and then you bring in Bobby Wagner. You get some veteran guys, but there's no question that the quarterback is the central piece to that. He touches the ball every single play, Dan. And when you have a guy that's a difference maker that touches the ball every single play, now the other 52 guys in the organization understand and know that we got a guy that can compete with the upper echelon of the league. And I'm not saying he's better than Mahomes or Burrow or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, but he can compete. And when I wake up and go to the building every morning, man, that's a great feeling because I know if I do my job, we got a chance. There's a difference when you have a guy in there, and no disrespect to Sam Howell. Sam Howell wasn't getting me warm and fuzzy every time I walked in the building. Jaden Daniels gives me an opportunity to be that way.
How did they beat the Eagles?
Stop the run. They got to stop Saquon Barkley. And it sounds crazy because Jalen Hurts, we've seen him go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, but they got to make Jalen Hurts beat him. They got to make Jalen Hurts throw the football to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I think it's the lesser of two evils because either one, the passing game or the running game can get you. But I think if you are the Commanders, you got to take away these 50, 60, 70-yard runs that Saquon Barkley's been putting up and make Jalen Hurts beat you. And I think if they do that, they'll at least give themselves an opportunity, Dan.
We don't know if he's 100%, Jalen Hurts.
Right.
So given that, that knee could be a little bulky, do you want to kind of force him to be mobile as opposed to force him to being a pocket passer?
Well, I think anytime he's in the pocket, number one, you want to get pressure up the middle. Like with Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, you want pressure up the middle. And then you want to make him go to his left. I think the numbers are astronomically worse when he goes to his left. As you would expect, right-handed quarterback going left, it's tougher to throw. So you want to make him go to his left rather than scrambling to his right. So if I'm bringing pressure, I'm bringing pressure from his right arm. I'm going to make him go left. Anything you can get to take advantage of his impairment, because let's face it, nobody, even if you don't get your knee twisted, is healthy this time of year. But especially him, when he got that knee twisted up, I mean, we thought maybe he wasn't going to come back in the game last week.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes back and he finishes. I don't think he's going to be 100%. I think if you're an Eagles fan, you're hoping he's closer to 85 or 90. I would bet he's probably closer to 75. We'll know early. I'm blitzing him early, and I'm going to see whether or not he can run. And if I know early on he can't run, that changes my entire game plan. And so I think you're going to see Dan Quinn find out in the first series how healthy that knee is by bringing pressure from his right arm or up the middle, make him run and just see how healthy he is.
What would you do as a defensive player with Mahomes, with the sliding, the going out of bounds? It feels like, he knows he's protected and he's kind of flirting with these rules here. But as a defensive player, what would you do?
I think it's up to the coaches, number one, pregame. I think you have a talk to the referees like, hey, listen, we know the quarterback is protected. However, how do you want us to handle this when he's a runner? Because when he's a runner, he's not protected because, again, he's a runner, not a quarterback in the pocket. But we've seen Mahomes run down the field and then slide 20 or 30 yards down the field. And so I'm having a talk with the referees just to say, hey, let's alert and be on alert for the late slide. Because if I'm already in my tackling motion, I can't stop. And then you got to tell your defenders, hey, guys, let's proceed with aggressive caution. And here's what I mean. You got to go at him 100 miles an hour. And then at the last minute, if you think if he's sliding, then use your hands. Don't hit him with your elbow or your head. Use your hands to get him down. I think the biggest deal with these penalties is you're seeing a lot of blows with your shoulder pads or the helmet or the forearm to Patrick Mahomes' head. Let's use our hands to get him on the ground. And I think if they do that, they'll probably get the benefit of the doubt. But I think Patrick understands how to manipulate the rules a little bit, and I don't blame him. How many times have we seen him, though, like he's going out of bounds and he puts that foot in the ground and gets another 10 or 15?
No, I know.
I think that's where you have to alert the ref, like, hey, how are you going to call that, and what would you like me to do?
Booger, I've said it. Now, I'm not calling for it, but I know that somebody's going to hit him. Somebody's going to pop him at some point if you're going to continue to flirt with the I'm going out of bounds, not going out of bounds, I'm sliding, I'm not sliding. Somebody's going to take a shot, deal with the 15 yards, bench is clear, maybe a fine. But until the NFL, if you want to protect your quarterbacks, they have to do better at this rule or these rules so the defense can understand how can this be a level playing field? Because as it is now, it's not a level playing field. And maybe they don't want that, Booger, but at some point, I worry that somebody's going to take a shot.
Well, I don't think, to your point, I don't know if they want it to be a level playing field because they realize that the quarterbacks sell. Like right now, we're looking at Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. And I think the NFL is salivating right now that we're going to, if any combination of two of these four quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, we can sell it. And that's what you want. Like if you go back to the Super Bowl with Nick Foles in it, like the NFL, like Philadelphia won, everybody's happy. But we ain't selling Nick Foles to America to tune in with 130 million people. I love Nick Foles, but he's not making me warm and fuzzy to turn the TV to CBS. And so I think that the NFL is going to protect their quarterbacks. However, you have to make the game fair for defensive players. And to your point, Dan, I may even tell my defenders this: hey guys, early in the game, first half, I'll give you a little leeway. So if he's going out of bounds, you take a shot because we can recover in the second half. Now, late in the game, you got to be cautious. But the first half, let's light his ass up a little bit. You know what I mean?
NFL primetime with Chris Berman and Booger McFarland right after the game, the AFC title game at around 9:45 Eastern on the mothership. Are the Bills a running team?
I think the Bills are a whatever they need to be team. When they had Stephon Diggs, that's all we talked about was Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen. Now they've morphed into this team that they can do whatever they need to do. They went out and got Amari Cooper, so they can throw the football to Shakir, Amari Cooper. They got the two tight end package they can go to. They can throw it to James Cook out of the backfield. So they have weapons to throw the football. However, I think what we've realized this postseason, Dan, the more physical teams are winning these games, right? The team that can control the line of scrimmage and be physically imposing, those are the teams that are winning these games. And I think Buffalo has said, okay, we've tried this with Josh being Superman. That didn't work. We've tried this a number of ways. So how about let's be physical. Let's get 35 carries a game between our running backs and Josh Allen. Let's control the line of scrimmage. And then in those moments late in the movie, okay, about the time the movie's about to climax, tell the guy at quarterback to put the cape on and now go turn into Superman. And when he turns into Superman, that means whatever he needs to do. If he needs to run 30, run 30. If he needs to throw a 60, throw a 60. And so I think they've developed into that type of team with one caveat. Don't turn the football over.
Yeah.
They haven't turned the ball over. And I think those are the primary reasons they've been successful.
Are you chiefed out?
No, I never get chiefed out because when you're a competitor, every year is different. And so to say I'm chiefed out would mean that I'm not rooting for the best teams. I think that each and every time you go out, you got to earn it. The Chiefs have earned back-to-back Super Bowls. If they get to a third, they will have earned it. Everything is earned in this business, Dan. Nothing is given, man. And so I'm not chiefed out because I know how hard it is to go and earn what it is that you need to get to win a Super Bowl. I've won 2 of them. Nothing has ever been given. Everything has got to be earned.
Do you think the Chiefs get favorable calls?
I think the home team is always going to get favorable calls. And the Chiefs have pretty much been at home except for one playoff run. So I do think that they get favorable calls because the crowd – think about this. I'm going to put a scenario out there. Let's say Patrick Mahomes is running down the Chiefs sideline and there's a questionable hit. Well, everybody in the stadium, along with everybody on the sideline, is going to be, throw the flag. And human nature is going to kind of influence the official. Like, it takes somebody really that's got a really nice temperament and a really strong demeanor not to listen to 70,000 plus all the coaches in front of your face doing that. So I think the home team, especially on the home sideline, always get a favorable flag.
My best to Chris Berman, and we'll be watching Sunday night. Great to talk to you again.
Always, man. Love coming on with you guys. Thank you for having me, sir.
Booger McFarland. One of these days he's coming up for a Meat Friday. He keeps threatening to. I mean, we'll get ready. We'll have he can create the menu. NFL Primetime with Chris Berman and Booger right after the conclusion of the AFC title game on the Mothership.